In the summer of 1916, the fields of northern France lay deceptively quiet. The air was still, the trees in full leaf, and the bird song uninterrupted. But beneath that silence, the earth was preparing to shatter. 2 years into the First World War, the great powers of Europe were locked in a gruesome stalemate. From the English Channel to the Swiss border, soldiers huddled in trenches, waiting, watching, enduring. This was not the war they had imagined. It was something far worse. And in that summer of 1916, British commanders unveiled a plan, one they believed would break the deadlock. A thunderous assault designed to overwhelm the enemy and reclaim lost ground. They called it the Somme Offensive. What followed was a battle so savage, so inhumane, that it shocked the world's conscience and forced a reckoning with the very rules of war. This is the story of the Battle of the Somme. The battle so brutal, they made it illegal to fight this way again. War had changed. No longer a clash of cavalry and courage, but a grinding contest of industry, steel, and numbers. The battlefield was now a machine, and the men inside it, gears to be spent. To prepare for the Somme offensive, British and French artillery units spent 7 days pounding German positions. Over 1.5 million shells were fired, an unprecedented storm of metal and fire, meant to obliterate defenses and clear the way for infantry. Commanders believed that no one could survive such a bombardment. They were wrong. German soldiers, dug deep into fortified bunkers, endured the thunder. When the shelling ceased, they climbed back to their machine guns. What awaited the advancing troops was slaughter. July 1st, 1916. At 7:30 a.m., whistles blew across the trenches. British soldiers rose and walked forward. Many told there would be no resistance. Within minutes, entire battalions were cut down, mown like wheat under a scythe. By nightfall, nearly 60,000 British men were dead, wounded, or missing. It was the bloodiest day in the history of the British Army. At exactly 7:30 a.m., the whistles pierced the morning air. Across miles of trench line, thousands of young men stood up, climbed over the parapets, and walked into hell. Many believed the German defenses had been destroyed. They expected surrender. Instead, they were met with a wall of bullets. Machine guns scythed through ranks of men in seconds. One survivor later wrote, "It was not war. It was the murder of innocents." What was planned as a breakthrough became a slow, grinding nightmare. The battle dragged on, day after day, week after week, in a wasteland of mud, blood, and broken bodies. One officer described it simply: "We lived like animals and died like them too." The wounded lay for hours, sometimes days, in shell holes, crying for water, for mercy, for death. By the fall of 1916, the ground at the Somme had been fought over for months, churned into a moonscape of mud and corpses. Neither side had gained decisive ground. The killing continued. In desperation, Britain unleashed a new weapon, the tank. It was clumsy, unreliable, and slow, but it was terrifying. The earth shook as if the devil himself were rising, one German soldier recalled. Still, the impact was limited. The war machine consumed every new invention, every ounce of hope. A British commander admitted, "We're feeding men into a furnace, and the flames only grow higher." By the time the guns fell silent in November 1916, over 1 million men were dead, wounded, or missing, all for a few miles of churned and poisoned land. A British soldier wrote, "The bodies lay so thick you could walk across them without touching the mud. There were no victors, only survivors, and even they were changed." Another man later confessed, "Something in me died at the Somme, and I don't think it ever came back." The world watched in horror. What had begun as a noble war had become a mechanical slaughter, an equation of lives for inches. In the aftermath of the Somme, the public mood shifted. What had been sold as heroism now looked like folly. The price was too high, one general admitted, and the gains too few. Soldiers returning from a front brought more than wounds. They carried silence, nightmares, and questions no one could answer. One veteran wrote, "We were lions led by donkeys." Even the high command couldn't ignore the outcry. Military doctrines were reviewed, tactics rewritten. For the first time, war planners began to understand. Massed men against machine guns was not bravery. It was madness. The Battle of the Somme was so brutal, so unforgiving, that it forever changed how wars are fought and how the world remembers them. New laws and treaties were created to prevent such horrors from ever happening again. This was more than history. It was a promise to honor the fallen by striving for peace, to never allow such savagery to be repeated. The scars remain, etched in memory, in stone, and in the hearts of nations. The psalm stands as a solemn warning. The true cost of war is human lives, and it's a cost we must never pay twice. If you found this story powerful and important, please like this video and subscribe to our channel for more deep dives into history's defining moments. Your support helps us keep these stories alive.